Hey guys, it's Amy here. I'm just setting up some lights. Make sure you guys can see me. Happy Monday. It's been a little while since I saw you guys. So if you happen to be on live, please come and say hi. And for today, we're going to talk about sexy arms. Yeah, because we all want sexy arms, right? So typically what women complain about when they don't like their arms is the back of their arms. You know, when they get, the bat wings or whatever those types of things, right? So that is otherwise known as the tricep muscle. And the tricep muscle is actually an upside down letter V. We've got the back head and then we've got the side head. Okay, and it's important to train both of them because that's part of the muscle. And anyways, it tends to be very weak for a lot of women, and these exercises tend to be very challenging. So I'm gonna break it down for you so you have a better understanding of how to engage that specific muscle and how to make it stronger so they are sexy. Okay, so I do have a little prop here, which is the chair, and I also have a mat and a block. So I'm gonna just move this back. Well, actually, let's start here. So there's the tricep dips, okay? And you can do this on the floor as well, but I'm gonna show it to you on the chair. I'm just gonna move up a little bit. Oh, this is a good spot. Okay, so you're gonna grab a seat and you want your hands kind of like right at your sides with your knuckles facing away from you. All right, and the key to this exercise is not to make sure you have a short neck. So remember we talked about neutral spine a few weeks back, where you always want to have a long neck and spine. You never want to have a short neck no matter what. No matter what. We don't want to walk around like this, and nor do we want to exercise like this. All right, so you want your knuckles facing away from you. And I always say have your legs hip width apart. And the straighter your leg, which are now your levers, the harder the exercise becomes. So to make it easy for yourself, you want your knuckles here. Just walk your feet about shoulder width apart. You're going to push yourself off. Okay, my chair's not that comfortable because it's got these little knobby things. However, let's give this a whirl. Okay, you're going to push yourself off. Okay, long neck and spine. You're going to bend the elbows and you're going to straighten the elbows. You're going to bend the elbows and you're going to straighten the elbows. Okay, so when you bend the elbows, you want to think about, I'm going to show it to you sideways, from behind, that my elbows stay tucked in. Oftentimes what ladies like to do is they do this. Okay, and then you start anteriorly rotating the shoulders forward and you start feeling it here, you start feeling it at the back of the neck and no longer at the back of the arms. So it's really important to hug your elbows in wherever that is. Some women might be a little bit farther out, regardless, as far in as possible, and you want your elbows pointing back behind you. So you want to think about bending your elbows and straightening your elbows, okay? So let's take it back to this. So the farther the legs are, the harder it is, okay? Hang on, do I have some space? Yeah, bend and straighten. Also, the lower you go is also harder. And what women like to do is they like to have their bum way out here, or they like to do this, and they lift their hips up, right? So now what you're using here is your glutes and your legs to get your body back up. So you want to ensure that all you're doing is bending your elbows and straightening your elbows. So nothing is changing down here around the hip area, okay? So I always suggest when we do these dips is to take it small, okay? You don't have to go all the way down if you can't get yourself back up. That's never gonna work, okay? So you wanna be able to go as far down as possible so that you can get yourself back up. Does that make sense? All right, so you push yourself up, make sure your bum is right at the seat here, bend and straighten. And you can do an isometric hold, which means it's just a static hold, like almost like a plank, where you're just pushing into the chair, elongating those arms and creating that long neck and spine. And even here, you can feel your tricep muscles engage. Now, if you don't have a chair, let me move this aside. You can do the same thing down here on the mat. And what I do have are a pair of blocks. I know my screen looks a little crooked. You can use blocks if you have them. So you're down here. And I would recommend having the blocks on the flat side, like this. So this way you don't feel like you're gonna fall over or the blocks are gonna tip, right? So same kind of grip. My knuckles are hanging over, I don't think you can see. My knuckles are hanging over the edge. My bum is off the floor. My legs are bent, remember? Shorter the lever, the easier it is. Harder, 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 hardest, right? So you want to make it easy for yourself. You're going to bend the elbows. Now my bum is on the floor. My elbows are tucked in. Now I'm going to push from the heels of my hands and press back up. Inhale, bend. Exhale, press and hold. Okay, if it's too much, just even holding it up here for like 3 seconds or 2 seconds or 5 seconds or however long you can hold yourself up, that will also work the back of your arms. Okay, so that's your tricep dip. And then I also have the tricep push-up, another tough exercise for the ladies. However, I will show you what that looks like. I'm just going to turn my screen down a little bit so you can see. All right, I think I'm going to be this way. You know what? When you're on screen, everything's backwards. All right, same thing. Your hands are shoulder width apart. My elbows are tucked in. And we all have creases in our elbows, right? You want those creases to be facing away from you. So you're here. The easiest version would be in this tabletop position. I'm going to turn my arm bones around so my creases are facing away from me. My head is neutral. It's not looking down here. All right? It's neutral. You're going to bend and you're going to straighten. You're going to bend, loading up the arms and straighten. Okay? If you want to make it a little more challenging, walk your knees back. So now I'm in a modified plank, shoulders back and down. Turn those arm bones around. And just because you walk your knees back doesn't mean you have to go all the way to the floor. My push-up, my tricep push-ups are only about here. Okay, so don't get caught up and, oh my goodness, I'm not going all the way to the floor. If it feels like work, you're doing it right. Okay, so turn your arm bones around. And I always like to turn my head sideways because it keeps my head neutral. Plus, I get to see you guys. Bend and straighten. All right, the next version would be up on your toes, bend and not even shorten it. And make sure we're not sagging through the hips. All right, so that is your tricep dip, and that is your tricep push-up. So go get yourself some sexy arms, not that they aren't sexy already. Right, ladies? Okay, have a great day. Don't forget, tonight, we've got the anti-inflammatory event that's happening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's still some spots available. We're going to learn how to decrease inflammation in our body so we can feel better. This is a big topic for a lot of women because inflammation is so big in our culture. Anything from aches and pains to psoriasis to autoimmune disease. And they say that stats say that 80% of autoimmune disease sufferers are women. Those are some staggering numbers. So it's important to arm yourself with lots of information. So be sure to come tonight and I will share the link because there's a few spots left. All right, everybody. Bye for now.